Hey guys, I'm Jacqueline.
And I'm Marlene.
And we're super excited to be going over this 5-video series with all of you to help you get started, take those actionable steps with zero down to start your online business essentially for free.
Right, and so today's video is going to be centered on how you can discover your superpower. So to help you discover what that superpower may be, check out the link below and take the quiz.
So now let's get into it. It's really important for you to get clear on what it is that you do, because if you don't know what you do, no one else is going to know what the heck you do. You can be creating social media posts, adding more content, sharing this, that, and the third, but if people don't know what you do and you're not clear yourself, your audience isn't really going to know what you do either.
Right.
So that's the number one tip that we have for you throughout this video series, is to really figure out what it is that you do.
Right, and to start niching it down, because as she said, if you're tapping into too many things or just posting content with no purpose or greater meaning that aligns to your business, people aren't going to know. And you really have to leverage those platforms, which we'll get to in another video. So in order to start discovering that power, it's important to think about what are some of the things that you can do better than your competition. So we recommend, like, maybe if you want to get a notebook out, jotting down 3 different ways that make you stand out.
Right, or just identify things that you're really good at and you've noticed that coworkers or friends or colleagues have said, wow, like, you're really good at that, or oh, could I get your help or advice on that? That's a really great way to help you identify areas that you are very strong in.
All right, so one thing that we are huge on is getting into alignment with your strengths. So of course you have to discover what that is, but I believe that everybody has special talents that they are naturally good at, and it's really important to leverage those.
And own that.
And own that, yeah. So make what you are good at something that you are phenomenal at. That's definitely going to put you at an advantage and separate you from your competition or from people who lack any passion. There's a lot of people who are in positions where there's no passion. And that really makes a difference in the way that you show up. And I think that separates someone who's mediocre at what they do from someone who's like great and extraordinary. So take a moment to think about those natural gifts and talents and strengths that you have. And as she said, own that. And also think about what makes you the happiest. Because there's so many things that you can do within a business also. And you might not enjoy all aspects of it. You might not be the best at operations. You might be better in front of the camera or writing or speaking engagements. So hone in on those gifts and make sure that you are aligning yourself to those, and then in the future delegating the other aspects of your business. But yeah, right. Focus on those strengths.
And for anybody that may have imposter syndrome or maybe low confidence or have these limiting beliefs of, oh gosh, like, who would want to actually listen to me when there's somebody else out there that has a lot more followers, is way more successful than me, of course, from what it seems like online? Why is someone going to want to listen to me, even if I am really skilled in that area? Those are all common thoughts to cross your mind. But again, people want to hear from you. You'll be able to resonate with a certain group of people. And we'll talk about that in another video on, getting clear on who your audience is. But don't ever think that you're not knowledgeable in an area or skilled enough, because people will meet you where you are. There's a lot of people that are much further behind than where you are. So if you're even just starting out, for example, if you want to be a coach, you got your first 3 clients, right? So then you can start coaching other people how to gain your first 3 clients in 1 month, right? Boom. It's not like they've been doing it for a whole year, and I've actually seen this happen, and people want to buy their course because that's where they're at. So if you can help figure out like where people are and get them to where you are today, that's a huge milestone, a big win. And again, like, what you do may evolve over time, but what is it that you're really good at right now, or something that you have accomplished within this current period of time?
Okay, so another thing that helped me figure out what it is that I want to do was that I was thinking about my experiences that I've had in the past and how my hardships have really shaped me and influenced me. And because I went through those hardships and I learned from them and I started reading books and I discovered how to heal from them, it encouraged me to want to write a book. It encouraged me to want to get into coaching and do more things with mindset. And so I think it's good for you to use your mess or things in the past as your message, and be comfortable with sharing that. I don't think that you should feel imposter syndrome from that. I think that people are going to relate to you knowing that you've gone through something that maybe they can relate to as well, and that's going to really put your business like one up. It's going to make people be able to trust you and relate to you, and that's super important, because at the end of the day, you're not just a business, you're running off of like interacting with people and relationships. And so I think that's important, is to share your message as to why you want to do it, and discover, do a little soul searching and think about why you want to do whatever it is you want to do. What's the greater meaning behind it?
That's a really great point. And a lot of the times when you look at brands or whatever it is that they're offering, whether it's a product or a service, people don't buy the thing because, oh, it's the most shiniest object. People buy the thing because of the deeper meaning behind it. They want to hear the story. They want to see the person on the other side. People buy the human that is interacting with them and telling the story. And again, we can go into that in further detail, I think, in another video. But people do want to hear about you and why it is that you're doing what you're doing. And so if you can figure out how you can really own whatever it is that you are really passionate about and offer that as a service or a product, people are definitely going to want to tune in.
Right.
So I want to go back to one of the points you made about standing out from your competition or other people that may be in a similar niche that you're thinking about getting into, but also looking at it as, okay, if you've experienced something or had a different type of connection or experience with whatever it is that was being offered or whatever it is that you were going through. So really think how you can set your brand of whatever it is that you're providing or creating aside from what is currently out there. Because I think when you can really figure out how you're different and really leverage that, and going back to really owning, there's nobody else like me that, is in this situation that started off and, I may not have it all figured out, but I know this for right now. There is a need, and this group of people isn't being served, or, these people are not getting the right customer service or the right information the way that I would want to have been offered a program or a service or a thing, whatever it may be.
Right. So put your own twist on it, because as you said, no one can do what you can do in the way that you can do it. And that's super important. There's so many people who do similar things, but what sets them apart is the way that they relate to their audience.
Right. If you like mac and cheese and you want to throw that in there, let people know you like mac and cheese. So before we wrap up, I did want to ask my sister one question on what would you recommend the time frame be to actually figure out what it is that you do, because I think that holds people up a lot of the times, and then they get overwhelmed and stuck, and then the limiting beliefs come in. But like, what's the reasonable time frame you would give yourself to really figure out what it is that you're going to do so you can move on to the next move?
Okay, I think that's a really good question, and I am going to say that I think it varies for each person, because everyone's starting at this journey in a different place.
Right.
For me, when I started to think about my purpose, honestly, it came to me in like a week. I went to Barnes & Noble. I had this weird, like, ironic moment. I found the purpose-driven life. Bam, I knew I wanted to start getting into coaching. I had already been working on my book. And I was just like, oh my gosh, all this is speaking to me. I identified my gifts already. I identified my strengths, and I knew what my heart's calling was. So I think if you can start figuring that out, but I think sometimes a lot of people have a lot of different interests, and so it's tough for them to narrow it down. But if you really come to one that like meets the different areas as far as like how you can serve, how you can make money off of it, and it's something that you enjoy, then you can narrow it down. And I honestly don't think it should take you that long, like a week or 2 weeks, because your heart's callings, and you already know what pulls you this way and that way. So yeah, I would say a couple weeks max. So I want to ask you, Jack, what are some ways that you were able to figure out how it is that you want to serve? Were there like certain techniques that you used?
Sure. I would say, first of all, like listening to myself and like what I know, and really just trusting within like what are my strengths and what is it that I'm really passionate about. But then I think another piece to that is also, if you can, get feedback, whether that's from close friends or family or people that you may be in a community with on Facebook, if you don't have anybody directly to reach out to, and kind of gauge and see, hey, I'm working on this, or you don't even have to specifically say I'm working on this, but would you be interested in this? And kind of ask them some questions based off of kind of what you're looking to do, and you'll get some feedback that way. And I think anyone that's in the entrepreneurial space getting feedback is how you consistently improve. You pivot, you improve, and you just keep going until you figure out what works. But like really getting that feedback is going to be really helpful, even if you're just asking friends or family members, hey, like what are some things that you think I'm really good at? That's a really great place to kind of start brainstorming how you can show up and really figure out what your next steps are going to be from there.
So now that you have a few ideas on how to start extracting that superpower, we definitely recommend that you check out that quiz that will be linked below on how to discover your superpower.
Right, and then going into that, once you've identified what your superpower is, it's going to be really important for you to get clear on who your audience is, or how it is that you serve and who it is that you serve and how do you show up for them. So stay tuned for the next video. We're really excited to talk about that. I think I'm really passionate about really understanding who your audience is, and it's so important. If you don't have these first two pieces in your online business, even if you're just starting out, you're going to run into some roadblocks and some hiccups that you're going to have to go back and rethink about. So we're really excited to see you in the next video. And don't forget to like and comment on this video if there's any additional information that you'd like to know on how to discover what your superpower is. And if you haven't already, be sure to click the bell notification so that you can stay up to date when a new video is posted every single Wednesday. Thanks so much, guys. We love you and can't wait to
see you in the next video.
See you in the next video. Okay, bye.
Bye.